welcome back to the Brunch Beauty Life podcast.
Hey, y'all.
I'm your host, Connie, the Inspiring Stylist.
And I'm Ashley at Naturally Ashley Rowe.
Make sure you are following us on all platforms.
Yes.
Brunch Beauty Life podcast. The link is below.
And also make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share because we need you to share us. Because we're talking about great things.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back. And we are in season 3, full effect.
Yes.
So, for today, we're talking about slow dating.
Slow dating. If you're blessed enough to be dating, it's hard out here in these streets. You know, there is pee in the pool. It does exist.
It's not just here in Charlotte. We
No.
hear that it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But there are some shining lights out there. There are some clean waters. And right now I am basking in the glow of some clean water.
All right, clean water.
I'm getting to know someone, having fun, getting to know them. But, trying to do this slow dating. So, Connie, what do you think slow dating looks like? What is slow dating?
Exactly what it sounds like. You date, you date slow. You take your time. You go with the flow. You don't rush things. You don't jump into things too soon, right?
What exactly is too soon?
Too soon? 2 weeks is too soon. A month is too soon. 30, 60, 90 days. 90 days can,
Is 90 days too soon?
Well, back in my day, when I used to move fast, right?
You said they called you 30, 60, 90.
That's what they used to call me, 30, 60, 90 days. And that was probably like 18, 19, 20. So what would happen was...
What had happened was...
So, day one, I meet you.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the whole timeline. Day one, I meet you. We vibing, we liking each other, we talking. But within the first 30 days, we was in a relationship.
Okay.
That's my man. We boyfriend, girlfriend, like we had a title on it. It's in the first 30 days, right? Then going into the 60 days, stuff start to kind of cool down. All the enlikeness of when
The
you first,
honeymoon phase.
when you first meet a person and that whole aura. You start kind of seeing some things, but you might not say anything or whatever the case. Then going into the 90-day mark, now you see the things that you don't like, or things that maybe might not necessarily be in alignment with what you got going on.
Yeah.
And typically during that time frame, the relationship would end because I realized. It wasn't really the relationship for me, right? And I realized later on, I was like, dang, well, if I had just waited, we would have never gotten a relationship.
True.
When I was married, because we say we keeping it real and raw, right?
Keeping it real and raw.
So once upon a time, I was married.
Okay.
And that happened very, very fast. 6 months later, I thought to myself, I was like, if I had just taken my time, we would have never got to this point.
Okay.
I'm not married anymore, to say the least. But I learned a very important lesson in that, and it was just take my time.
Okay.
Because if whatever we're doing now, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later, right? The title isn't going to, make or break the difference if we're in the getting to know each other phase. And at the end of the day, I don't care how long you date somebody. You don't know a person until y'all move in together, until y'all are cohabiting and living together. You still don't know that person. You could date somebody for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. But until the day they move in, you start to learn them. It's like starting back over because you get to learn them in a whole different light. But
well, that's different because for me, at least, I have never lived with a significant other. Ever. In this 40 years of living, but I won't say 40 years of dating because technically I probably wasn't really dating until I was in my 20s. So I would say for the 20 years, I've never lived with someone that I was in a relationship with. So especially in this season, at my wonderful tender age of 40, I feel like I have really great discernment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to trust that guide as my guide. And as I'm getting to know this person, I really feel like I have a really good sense of who they are. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I'm dating like Ashley was dating in her 20s, you know?
Okay. So you're dating differently.
We're dating differently. We're actually having dates. So I would say if we're looking for what slow dating looks like, you know, we're actually going on dates.
We ain't Netflix and chilling.
There's no Netflix and chilling. We are actually going on dates. Dates are talked about. Dates are planned. They are coordinated, and they're really good dates. And we've actually been having some multiple dates within a date. So,
Okay.
you
That's a
know,
good sign.
even though I won't specifically say the time frame, I feel like it does not feel the time frame that it is. And so I'm trying to pace myself and slow down, but it's such a vibe over here right now. And so, I'm trying to establish what the slow dating look like, especially slow dating looking like when you are a secure individual. Because I feel like I'm very secure in who I am and what I want and what I'm looking for. So I don't really, I'm narrowing it down and honing in, and everything, all the boxes are being checked for me. And so I don't know how slow or how fast I should go.
Well, let me ask this question: what difference would having the title make? Like, what difference would having the title at this moment versus 4, 5 months later?
Some things is happening with that title that is not happening outside of a title.
Oh, okay.
Grown folks, if you know what I mean.
Grown folks, okay.
And also just the level of like building an intimacy. I feel like right now, if I was to enter into a relationship, this is for future purposes. This is intentional. We're not dating to just be like boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, this is someone I see as a potential partner. So I want to be sure that, I'm not just looking to be a girlfriend. I'm looking to be a wife. Like New York said, I want my last name dropped. Okay.
All
That means I
right.
want to be married. I want my eggs cracked. That means I want a baby. That's what she said. Okay. And I agree. There was a lot of women online be like, I know that's right. Yes, I agree. I want all of those things. So dating for me right now is very intentional. And, I'm assessing whether or not that person is on the same page as me, but it feels like it is right now. So, Shar, what do you think when it comes to slow dating? What does that look like from the man's perspective? Because me and, the person that I'm getting to know, we've had some conversations of what that looks like and, his feelings and mine. But what's the overall? Give me some game, some cheat codes.
Well, if you were to let my girlfriend tell you, she'd probably tell you I'm the master at slow dating because it's been about 5 years.
Oh, that's it?
But I proposed
I'm about to say
yesterday.
because she ain't a girlfriend no more. She is
But-
a fiance.
Yeah, she's my fiance now. But my perspective and my history is different. Coming from being a widower and just learning things all over again. But I think slow dating looks like taking your time to actually learn the person as an individual. I mean, it's good to look at. First, you want to see, well, how is this man or woman as a person?
Yeah.
First, get that part right. Like, see how they maneuver in different situations and stuff like that without even getting into okay, well, how would they be, as my boyfriend? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times if you focus on that, seeing them as a person first, a lot of times you can get a lot of things that you may miss when you're looking at them as a significant other. You know what I'm saying? Looking at how they handle adversities or how they handle failures, how they handle, just different challenges that come in their life as you get to know them. And do they call you like, man, this happened and blah, 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 all that stuff to pay attention to, because as you move on into a relationship, them things can be important and they can be detrimental. I don't really think there is a time period. No, I've heard many women have time frames on when they expect things to happen. Now, the 30, 60, 90, that's pretty mean, right? I thought it was like 2 years maybe, but like, yeah, she
Well, and again, the 36. It's I know who I am, you know, and I know what the vision that I have for my life. I have a vision for where I'm trying to go, things I'm trying to do. So some things don't, it's just not in alignment, right? If I'm a businesswoman, I'm a hustler, okay? I got drive. I'm going to go out here, I'm going to go get it, I'm going to make stuff happen, right? If you're a person to just dwell on things or you just sit around and do nothing all day, that's not in alignment. And I'm not going to waste my time, I'm not going to waste your time. It's not going to work.
And that's really important to know what you want, and to also know, what you want as far as in somebody else, and what you want for yourself and in your life, and to also recognize what you have going on in your life and things you have going on.
Absolutely.
That plays a huge part. So when you do meet someone and stuff like that, you already know what you got going on, and you're able to kind of assess the situation and see, how would this work, and sometimes it ain't always something bad. It just, the way your life just may not gel up with the other person's life, and sometimes that means, well, maybe we can't do this, or we just may have to take it slow, because right now I got these things going on, and if we move too fast, we're going to crash. So let's take it slow. So I think it just it just depends on the two people that's in it. But it sounds like from what you got going on, Ashley, like, yeah, it's all the right things, because it sounds like you're building a friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that can be missed. A lot of times it's missed a lot. We'll meet somebody, oh, they look good, this and that, then, sex, and then like we go together. You know what I'm saying? We go together, and it's like, but you really don't like the person though. Like you really don't. I really don't.
Or you discover that later, because then, for sex, since you're talking about sex, right? Mm-hmm. Sex is different for women than it is for men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Yes, because
we talked about this on camera.
I'm just saying that's a whole other podcast. But just what we know, and just for men versus women, and the topic of sex, the vast majority for men say sex is different for them than it is for women. Like for men, they could just, hey, the opportunity has presented itself, go for it, right?
Well,
for a woman, for the most part, some feelings or whatnot. Like what I'm saying is, when sex get involved, it could kind of misconstrue things, right?
Yes,
you get clouded in your judgment. Especially if it's good, right? You get clouded in your judgment, and there'll be a lot of things that you miss all the red flags, because it's all hazy, because you're so caught up and you've entered in sex, and then that takes into a whole nother spiritual background and all that other type of stuff. So,
well, I mean, I will say that when I was not emotionally available, sex and emotion did not coincide.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I was doing that a lot, but I could bop around and not be concerned. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not bopping around every week, all week with different people, just to be clear. Not like that. But I could, not equate sex and emotion. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm emotionally available, I can't. And also I made the choice to be that way. Mm-hmm. But, I feel like when it comes to slow dating, it's just different. Because for me, like everyone else, you may not be in a timeline or a time crunch or time frames or things like that. But I have time frames, because I do want a child, and I am 40. And I cannot date you for 2 years and then discover that we're not moving beyond that 2 years. That's 2 years of my child bearing time that's already, per the medical terms, compromised.
Well, those conversations that you have in the beginning, like, I don't think it would take 2 years to figure that out. If you're dating someone, usually you date, and those are questions to discuss on dates. Like, so what are your views on this? Are you even interested in having kids? And they go to 30, 69 days, right? If you meet someone and they're like, I'm not interested in having kids at all. I don't want kids. I don't want to deal with kids. Blah 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 blah. Right? Mm-hmm. And if that's what you desire, then you already know, okay, well, it's been nice. Thank you for the date. It's not going to work. Y'all are not in alignment with each other. And then, 30, 69 days isn't all about like entering into sex. It's just like, okay, let's take the time. I'm collecting data.
Yes.
I'm doing my part. I'm collecting data. I'm taking it as we talk. We get to know each other. I'm watching you. I'm observing, like Shar said, how you respond to things. I'm just taking notes of things. I'm collecting data.
Yeah.
And I think slow dating too. And I remember one of the seasons I think I mentioned about like relationships kind of being like a business. So you got to look at what you're investing your life in. And then even more when you think about kids, like you got to do a lot more thought into that, because you don't want to bring life into the situation.
Yes. Or if you have kids, bringing people and introducing them to them, things of that nature, how soon you want to do that, or how you want to put them as a fixture in your children's lives when you're getting to know them. But, I will say that on that aspect of 30, 60, 90, I do kind of agree with that method, because then you're not necessarily wasting your time, but you have to I feel like that only works if you're actually dating the person. Like, not just like, oh, we're chilling and we're just hanging out. Like, I feel like if you're really spending, like, getting that quality time and investing in that time and investing in that person in that way, I think that by 90 days you should have a great guy. But actually for me, it's like by day 100.
I mean, it could be longer than that, because some people can put on a facade for longer periods of time. But usually within those, like I said, the 36, it just taught me not to move too fast, because like I said, if I saw you, we met, we like each other, and we're talking, everything always seemed great in the beginning. And then you make a decision based off of what seems great right here in the beginning. And then you go forward in a month or 2 or 3, maybe even within somewhere in the 6-month period, you learn these things and you discover these things. And then you realize, like, dang, if I had just slowed down, took my time to get to know this person, all of these things would have revealed itself to me, and I would have made a different decision.
Yes, and I also, I feel like as a business owner, maybe you can agree that I know by 90 days if a stylist is going to work for me.
Yeah, well, if you put it into business, absolutely. Because you know what? We do the same thing with our stylists. When we apply that to business 30, 60, 90 days, because some people start off very strong.
Yes.
And they fall very hard.
Yes,
So,
very hard.
We don't make a decision on whether or not we're going to hire somebody until after they've got into 3 months. And even in that 3 months, we're talking, we're discussing things. If we see things, we're bringing that up. Like, hey, I noticed these things, this, that, and the third. How can we be of service to you? What do we need from you? It's the same thing when you're slow dating. You see these things, or you might ask questions, or the situation just might happen to present itself. Yeah. Have you ever just been talking to someone, getting to know them, and then some type of financial something hits them right in the midst, and y'all getting to know each other? That's your time, not to offer your help.
Oh yeah,
but that's your time to just kind of let me see how they go about handling this situation.
Okay. And then Shark, just a question for the women's. I always like being able to ask him something.
A question for the women.
Being that you are now, engaged and everything. How long would you say, especially with you being a, self-proclaimed slow dater, how long did it take you to realize that you wanted to proceed further with your partner?
Again, my path was a little different, so I looked at a lot of different things, and I had to overcome a lot of different things inside of me as well in order to move forward. But really, it was just kind of seeing just the support, the teamwork, interactions with my daughter and stuff like that. Just and then just again, just looking at how they maneuver through life and seeing how they maneuver through different challenges and different things like that, and then trying to see how we could work together in different challenges that we may have faced together or faced with each other, or how we handle disagreements and things like that. That was important. I don't like to argue and things like that. We can disagree, I mean, you may even argue, but just how do we handle it? Like, what does an argument look like? Do people hit below the belt? Do people call names and stuff like that? Like, I started just looking at all those different types of things, and then I sat down and just asked myself, like, is this something, somebody that I feel like I can build with, and, you know, look at all the things that I may have issues with? You know, is it a deal breaker? Is this something I can deal with? You know, are these things something that we can work on? And then I just, you know, I made the choice, because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, are you gonna go somewhere else? Like with men, just so many different things. Because sometimes we'll sit and we'll be waiting, thinking we're gonna miss something, and that was kind of the situation as well. Like, we got to tell ourselves, like, we're not missing anything. Like,
so what do you mean by miss? Like fishing, like those that be fishing.
They got FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, like
FOMO.
some, you know, ultimate.
Is something
perfect,
better out there?
Oh my god!
Perfect woman that's, you know, a slut in the bed, and just all these, you know, like all these different things are just gonna come, and you're gonna miss out. Like, she's just gonna just be everything that you want, and you're not gonna have no issues, and like she's gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like we just have that thing, like it just may come, and you're gonna miss out on it, and you have to tell her, like, you're not missing anything. And then sometimes we get caught with, you know, it can be people you may have dealt with in the past, or people, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, ain't nothing gonna happen with that, and just like, you just gotta make the choice, like, you know what, this is good for me, you know, I'm good here, and like, I'm ready to build. And that's kind of how I look at it. I look at relationships as being an opportunity to fulfill your true purpose. You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to be here alone, and once you get with somebody else, you can really, you can build and just do a lot of things, especially if y'all on the same page. You know what I'm saying? And that's with any relationship. You find somebody else on the same page with you, that's on one accord with you, that supports you and got your back, that's huge. You can't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And I think relationships is marriage is one of the, you know, best things that can happen if you know, you do it right. You know what I'm saying? It's work. And that's the thing. It's work, and it ain't gonna always be easy. You ain't gonna always like it, and you gotta make up in your mind, like, am I gonna do what needs to be done to make it work, to make it survive?
Well, I would say, I guess, to, you know, wrap up what we were talking about. And I'm saying it for the single ladies out here dating just like myself.
Okay,
just from what I saw from or hear from what Shar said, we're looking for the same things. We're both looking, men and women, we're looking for the same things. Now, again, that's true adult men and women who are actually wanting a relationship. We're looking for the same things: support, stability, partnership, you know, care, concern, kindness, comfort. And we have to be those things that we're also wanting to receive. So we're not that far off the spectrum when it comes to each other. We're both looking for the same things. I would just encourage you to make sure you are setting your standards, staying in them, and taking your time. Even though right now it's hard.
Just go with the flow. Just
go with the flow and actually date, guys. Like, really date. Not just going and hanging out at his house or him coming to your home or things like that. Like, really taking the time to be with each other, and it's helping you see all the different scenarios of how they are. How are they when you're approached? How are they when you're out? Because so far we have been approached. We have been out, and I've been able to see in different scenarios, you know, how he's been doing. And so far, 10 out of 10.
And if you see red flags,
don't ignore them, honey. Don't be a Reesa Teesa.
Yeah, don't ignore them. I think take them into consideration. Talk about it. You know, it could be a conversation. Sometimes I've seen it when women and or men are dating, right? They see as soon as they see a red flag, they out, right? And they just out. And sometimes nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. There's no perfect person out there. Everybody got some sugar honey
That's
iced
right,
tea
Shar.
with them.
Ain't no perfect person.
Everybody got some shits with them, okay? So you just gotta kind of. Matter of fact, what was that lady when we was at the networking event? Remember? She was like,
I'm going to deal with your shit.
You're going to deal with my shit. And we're going to love this shit together.
Like,
was like, what? I was like, well, I mean, guess it kind of works. But whenever you see issues,
she's been married for many years. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it works, right? But when you see issues, don't just be so quick to just throw in the towel. Just take the time and see if you can work through it, because no successful relationship, people that's been together for 10, 15, 20 plus years, at some point they was ready to throw in that towel. At some point they felt like this relationship was over, it was done, but somehow they managed to figure it out and move forward. So you slow date, you go with the flow, just let things happen organically. Don't try to force it, don't try to rush it, and in time will reveal if this is your person.
Okay, well, see y'all next time. Hopefully y'all can hear some updates on. I hope he's still around. That's my hope. And I'm not on the next episode. The water is definitely filled with pee. Like, I hope that's not the case next time.
Make sure you are following us on all platforms. Once again, you see the sign.
And follow us on everything. Podcast, Gmail. Send your emails. If you want to add to this conversation as well, send an email. We like to hear your thoughts as well.
Or
comments on what slow dating is looking like for you.
Until next time.
Bye.
See ya.